Hello everyone, I'm Trupti Singhal from the career classes. To- Today we learn the chapter 3 pair of linear equations in two variable. It is from the unit 2 algebra. Before me I'm moving, please subscribe our channel to get more updates. In this chapter we learn pair of linear equations in two variable, the general introduction, graphical method, algebraic method. In algebraic method, there are the four substitute methods, substitution method, elimination method, cross multiplication method, and reducible form. So let's check out in detail each. First, introduction to the pair of linear equations in two variables. So in that, linear equations in two variables are the equations which can be expressed as ax plus by plus c is equals to 0, where a, b and c are the real numbers and both a and b are not 0 at the same time. That means sometimes the a can be 0 or sometimes the b, the coefficients of the variables can be 0, but the both a and b cannot be 0 at same time because we are dealing with the linear equations in two variables. The solution of such equations is a pair of values for x and y which makes both the sides of the equation equal. What is the equation? What is the difference between the equation and the just an expression? When we write is equals to 0, that means it is a equation. Otherwise, it is called just an algebraic expression with the signs plus, minus, multiplication and division. The general form of pair of linear equations are a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equals to 0, a2x b2y plus c2 is equals to 0. This is a pair of such an equation is called a system of linear equations, where a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2 are all the real numbers, and a1 square plus b1 square is not equals to 0 for the first equation. Same way a2 square and b2 square is not equals to 0. Every solution of the equation ax plus by plus c is equals to 0 is a point on the line representing it. Every solution. अगर कोई लाइन पे कोई पॉइंट है, that is the it is the solution of a point and it is the represent the line. Or you can say that each solution, that means the point x and y of a linear equation in two variables, which line ax plus by plus c is equals to 0 corresponds to the point on the line representing the equation and vice versa. That means अगर कोई point line पे है तो वो point line को satisfy करता है and line पर जितने point हैं वो points line के solution है. That is we exactly call. Some example of pair of linear equations in two variables are, you can say that 4x plus 3y minus 5 is equals to 0, 9u minus 2v plus 8 is equals to 0, 5x is equals to y minus 7x plus 2y plus 3 is equals to 0. So you can check out this all are the examples of linear equations in two variables. Move on to the geometric representation of a pair of linear equations in two variables. In this chapter, there are the main two branches. This first one is a graphical representation of a pair of linear equations in two variables, and another one is a algebraically representation of pair of linear equations in two variables. So first we check geometrical representation of equations. So in that, we know that geometrical or we can say graphical representation of linear equations in two variables is just a straight line. Hence, a pair of linear equations also in a two variables will be the two straight lines which are considered together. When there are the two lines in a plane, we have mainly three possibilities. Which are they? The two lines will intersect at one point. How can we see that in the graph? This way, the intersecting at one point, a pair of linear equations in two variables which has a common point, which has only one solution, is called a consistent pair of linear equations. That means if the lines are intersecting at a unique point, then their lines are called the consistent lines, which also can be considered as a independent considered lines. For example, in a graph paper, if we can see that the graph of the intersecting lines are look like this. If we take the two lines x minus 2y is equals to 0 and 3x plus 4y is equals to 20, we see that the graph of these lines are intersecting lines. Is they will not intersect. That means the parallel lines. In the graph paper, you can see the two straight lines, the two parallel lines. A pair of linear equations in two variables which has no solution. As you can see that the lines are unbounded but they are not intersecting at any point. That means the lines are parallel to each other is called the inconsistent pair of linear equations as they have no solution at all. That means they are called inconsistent pair of linear equation. This is the only type of lines which is called as inconsistent pair of linear equations. Example, if we see the graph of this line, it looks like this. Here we take the two lines 2x plus 4y minus 12 is equals to 0 and x plus 2y minus 4 is equals to 0. The two lines are never intersecting each other at any point. So we can say that there is a no solution, and we can say that therefore we can say that there are the inconsistent lines. Third type, the two lines will be coincident lines. That means the overlapping lines. How can they look like? This way. A pair of linear equations in two variables which are equivalent. That means they are not in real. That means they are not two lines but they look like a two lines and has infinitely many solutions are called dependent pair of linear equations. Note that a dependent pair of linear equations is always consistent with infinite number of solutions. Again, guys, this is a second type of a consistent line because it has a many infinitely solutions. Therefore, it calls as a dependent consistent lines. X in a graph, so let's check out by the example. In a graph paper, if we check the coincident lines, the overlapping lines are 4x plus 6y is equals to 18 and 2x plus 3y is equals to 9. So we can see that the two lines are same. If we take a common 2, then we check two lines are same. 2x plus 3y is equals to 9 only. On this important part of a chapter, how can we say that before we draw a graph, the graph is will be the intersecting lines or parallel lines, or we can say that the coincident lines. So we can check just first if we have the pair of equations in a general form a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equals to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equals to 0 represents, if we check a1 upon a2 is not equals to b1 upon b2, then they are the intersecting lines. Second, if a1 upon a2 is equals to b1 upon b2 and is not equals to the constant term c1 upon c2, then they are the parallel lines. Third point, if a1 upon a2 is equals to b1 upon b2 and equals to c1 upon c2, then they are the coincident lines. That means overlapping lines. So this is the heart of a chapter. Algebraic method. We now moving to the second type of a chapter, algebraic method. How we can solve the pair of linear equations by the algebraic method. In that, first we check out the substitution method. In which first step is express the y in the terms of x in one of the given equations. That means if we have the two equations, first we convert the one equation in any of a term. First, let's say in a y terms. Step 2, substitute this value of y in the terms of x in other equation. This gives a linear equation in x. Step 3, solve that linear equation in x obtained in step 2. Step 4, substitute this value of x in any of you in step 1 we give the equation, and step 5, solve the above linear equation in y to get the value of y. solving a system by the substitution method. For example, if we have the pair of a linear equations, first y is equals to x minus 4 and second is a x plus y is equals to 10. So what we do, first we do the y is equals to x minus 4. This is already y is equals to, so we put the value of y in the second equation. So we get, substituting we get the x equals to 7, and put this value of x in another equation. So we get the value of another variable y is equals to 3. Of the algebraic method is elimination method. In that we do, first step, multiply the given equations by suitable numbers so as to make the coefficients of one of the variables equal. That means we have to equate the variables of coefficients of the variables equal. Second step, if the equal coefficients are opposite in sign, then simply add the new equations, otherwise subtract them. If we take the example, for example 2x plus 3y and 2x plus 6y, then they are in a same sign, but if the equal coefficients are in opposite sign, then we have to add one, otherwise subtract them. Step 3, the resulting equation is in linear in one variable. Solve it to get the value of one of the unknown quantities. Step 4, substitute this value in any of the given equation. And step 5, solve it to get the value of the other variable. So it is very simple and very effective method. Well, if we take the two equations, 3x plus 2y is equals to 9 and 2x plus 6y is equals to 6. In this case, you can check that the coefficients of x are different and the signs are also same. So we have to subtract them, and before subtracting them, we have to equal the coefficients of the variable x. So for that, we have to multiply the first equation by 2 and the second equation by 3, or we can say the multiplication of minus 2 also. So we get the minus 6 minus 4y is equals to minus 18 plus 6x minus 18y is equals to 18. So we get the value of y is equals to 0, and put this y is equals to 0 in another equation. So we get the value of another variable x equals to. Check out the third and very important method, cross multiplication method. The system of two linear equations, if we have given, then first we have to check a1 upon a2 is not equals to b1 upon b2, because x equals to b1 c2 minus b2 c1 divide by a1 b2 minus a2 b1. डिवीजन में जो फॉर्म आ रहा है a1 b2 minus a2 b1, वो कभी भी जीरो नहीं होना चाहिए. That's why here we check out first that a1 is not equal to a1 by a2 is not equals to b1 by b2, and therefore we generally write it as x divided by b1 c2 minus b2 c1 is equals to y upon c1 a2 minus c2 a1 is equals to 1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. इसको याद करने का बहुत एक सिंपल वे है. B और C से आप स्टार्ट करिए. 1 2 2 1 1 2 2 1 जो है वो आपका वापस रिपीट ही होना है. सो B C और ऑर्डर में ही हम जैसे लेते हैं A B C, तो हमें B C से स्टार्ट करना है. X डिवाइड बाय B C 1 2 2 1. Y अपॉन B C हो गया. अब C के बाद C A, तो 1 2 2 1. सेम वे 1 के नीचे A हो गया तो A B 1 2 2 1. सो दैट वे यू कैन रिमेंबर दिस फॉर्मूला. The following diagram will help to apply the cross multiplication method directly. You can say that the arrows between the numbers indicate that they are to be multiplied. The product with upward arrows are to be subtracted from the product with the downward arrow. Example, if we take these two equations, the pair of linear equations, we have coefficients like this. We have to put the coefficients like this below the variable x, y and 1. The constant we numbered as 1. Then we multiply them and we solve by taking x upon minus 2 is equals to, by comparing in the third point, we have to compare with the constant. That means the variable x with the constant and the variable y with the constant. So we get x equals to -2 and y is equals to 5. So thus the required solution is -2 and 5. Last but not the least, the fourth form of a solution of finding the solution of pair of linear equation in two variable is a reducible form. This is not nothing new, but in this case our variable x and y are in the denominator or are in the same form. So we have just put the variables upward. So we have to assume some p, q, u, v, any variables, and solve the same way as any of the methods: substitution, elimination, or cross multiplication method. Just we assume 1 upon x is equals to p for both the equations and 1 upon y for both the equations. Then we reduce these equations by like this: 2p plus 3q is equals to 13. 5p minus 4q is equals to -2. Now we get the simple two equations and we can solve these equations by any of method. So please subscribe the channel for latest videos for standard 6 to 10 CBGB, and please like and share it. Thank you.